on the Oregon coast, and it's absolutely one of our favorite destinations. It seems that everywhere we go, people always talk about the great time they had at the Oregon coast, or we meet people that say that they really want to go visit.
Yeah, so we're going to share some tips that we hope will be helpful if you're planning to travel the Oregon coast.
Weather is definitely a big consideration. As you can see now, it's a little bit windy here, and it's the middle of August, and it's t-shirt weather, but I would always bring a windbreaker with you, even in the summer.
Yeah, it's always windy, and it's definitely going to be at least probably 10 degrees cooler than it is inland. So definitely bring some type of jacket or windbreaker with you.
Yeah, and we're often asked what time of year is best to visit the Oregon coast. Well, I'd say any time from probably mid-spring to early fall is probably the season, but that's going to be a big mix of a lot of different types of weather type. I mean, it could be storming and raining and windy, or it could be really blistering hot and calm. So it's best that you just kind of check the local area to find out what the weather is like for as you get closer to when you want to visit.
Yeah, the summer is definitely going to be busier for sure, like it is most places. But we have been over here in as late as November or as early as March and just had absolutely beautiful, gorgeous, sunny weather with little to no wind. So
yeah, I think the November thing
really can vary.
is a big secret.
Yeah.
The November, because we've actually had very beautiful, warm, sunny days in November, but don't count on that.
Yeah,
you definitely
sure.
want to do your homework and check it out. But I'd say other than a jacket, it's probably the biggest thing to make sure that you have
Yeah,
with
it's
you.
good to have chapstick. The wind can really
a little bit of sunscreen,
dry you out, and definitely sunscreen. Even when it's cloudy, you can always get sunburned. And
yeah, I try to use a buff or a hat or something like that to cover up with more than the sunscreen. I'm not a real big sunscreen fan, but I know a lot of people are very sensitive to the sun and they have to be careful, so I would definitely do what suits you best.
The main highway traveling down the coast is Highway 101, and traffic is generally not too bad except in a couple of places. Lincoln City is always extremely busy. Run into some traffic there. Yeah, Astoria up
sometimes
in the very
Newport.
north. But for the most part, it's not too bad other than those particular areas.
Yeah, and you're going to want to watch out for hikers and bikers along the way. The road tends to be a little bit narrow in places, and the Oregon coast does feature a very active bike route. It's very popular to bike along the way, bicyclists, and so you want to watch out for them. And also there's a lot of hikers, backpackers along the way. There's the Oregon Coast Trail that's very popular. So there will be hikers and bikers along the way, and sometimes in narrow places.
Yeah, there's a lot of bridges and a few tunnels, and none of them are really an issue for RVs. There is one tunnel, the Cape Creek Tunnel that is between Florence and Cape Perpetua. That one is a little bit narrow, or a little bit short on the sides. So if you're in an RV, know the height of your RV so that you can make sure that you can get through there and definitely stay towards the center.
Yeah, you want to stay safely towards the center. Bicyclists also enter that tunnel. There is a sign outside that has lights around it that will be flashing if there are bicycles in the tunnel, and they require that you drop down to about 30 miles an hour. You're probably going to want to go even slower than that if there's bicyclists in the tunnel. It could be very dangerous. We've been through the tunnel. It was a little spooky going through it with our RV. What are we, like
13.9, I think.
8 somewhere, I don't know, somewhere up there, I forget. We have it written down in view when we're driving. But we definitely were a little bit weirded out by the sides of it, because it goes down to like 11 foot something.
Yeah.
But that's the uttermost outer edge of the tunnel. So as long as you stay away from that and towards the center, you should be fine.
Other than that, every place else on Highway 101 is fine for RV travel.
Yeah, smooth going, definitely. There are many places to stay along the Oregon coast. There are plenty of state parks, private parks, and even a few casinos.
Yeah, there's 3 casinos. There's one in Lincoln City, there's one in the Reedsport North Bend area, and one in the Florence area. Now, the one in Coos Bay has both free overnight RV parking as well as a paid RV park, the Mill. Yeah, Three Rivers Casino in the Florence area does have free overnight RV parking. And then Chinook Winds in Lincoln City has a paid RV lot. So that's always good options. The state parks, there's about 15, I think, state parks that have camping along the Highway 101. And most of them will accommodate a rig the size of ours, a 40-foot fifth wheel. We've stayed at Fort Stevens, Nehalem Bay, several of them, but you definitely want to check.
Yeah, you'll want to call ahead and make sure that you can get your rig in there, and you'll want to check with others that have been to the particular park that you're going to make sure that it fits your needs. There are other ones like Honeyman, and what's another one that we've called? We know that Honeyman gets up to about 55 foot spaces in there. So yeah, you just want to call ahead and check, but there's some really wonderful state parks all along the Oregon coast.
Yeah, and there's a lot of private parks too. One we stayed at was called Pleasant Valley in the Tillamook area, and that was a great location. It was in proximity to
Munson Falls and some other different things, so it was really great to kind of use it as a staging area or a base camp area.
There's so many beautiful points of interest and places to stop along the Oregon coast, but some of our favorites are the Three Capes Scenic Loop that was in the Tillamook area.
Very beautiful.
Yeah, really beautiful drive. The Cape Perpetua area has Thorswell and the Spouting Horn, and where else? Cannon Beach,
yeah,
seaside
definitely
area.
Cannon Beach, Astoria. There's a lot of the historical things up in the Astoria area.
Yeah,
so
a lot of Lewis
really
and
cool.
Clark history. Yeah, just so many places, too many to mention.
Yeah, and if you check out our Oregon Coast video, you'll get a lot more of that in there. There's some other places that we've been, and it's just really difficult to make a video about the Oregon Coast in terms of points of interest, because to somebody, every single place along the Oregon Coast is a point of interest. You'll see plenty of that as you're just driving. If you did not get out of your vehicle and you just kept going along the Oregon coast, you'll get your fill.
Yeah, it is really beautiful.
Something that a lot of people might not consider when traveling the Oregon coast is the tides. And I highly recommend that you know the tides when you're traveling along the Oregon coast. Some of the places that you visit, such as Spouting Horn and Thor's Well, are better viewed at high tide, and then other places like tide pools are better at low tide.
Right. So depending on what you're going to see, check the tide tables and see if it's high or low tide at the time that you're going to be visiting that area.
Yeah, and like if you want to take really great pictures of the water spraying up or splashing up from the rocks, and there's many rock formations along the Oregon coast, then you're probably going to want to opt for the tide coming in, high tide. And then, of course, to see all that wonderful sea life and everything, and some of these beautiful tide pools along the Oregon coast, opt for the low tide. And also just beach combing in general. It's kind of fun to walk along the beach when it's low tide.
Yeah, when the tide's out and all the things that it's left behind are there to find.
Yep, that's very beautiful during the low tide. When the topic's the Oregon coast, it's very difficult to cover all the tips because there's just so many things to see and do on the Oregon coast, and the tips just abound. So we hope that the few that we've shared in this video will help you have a great adventure when you visit the Oregon coast.
And don't forget to comment, share, and subscribe.
Thanks for watching.